One and go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today we've got the brand new MEST album, EP, whatever you want to call it. First of three, supposedly, MEST albums coming out in 2024. This one comes out somewhere in June. We think either the 21st, 28th, somewhere in there. But we've got a nice copy early, so thanks to Spam Records for hooking us up. And with me, I've got Discord Kingpin right to my left, Elliot, aka Ergoth, and we've also brought along the world's biggest MEST fan. I'm pretty confident in saying that DJ, aka Purplish Rain, is the biggest MEST fan. Tony Lovato, if you're watching this man desperately needs a copy of Masquerade on CD. So let us know how we can make that happen. But Elliot, how you feeling today? How do you feel about MEST, this album? General thoughts?
Yeah, I'm feeling good today. I'm excited to check this out. MEST has always been kind of like, I'm not saying like a guilty pleasure band, but always kind of just like something that I always like to revisit. It's always like a good time to go back and revisit MEST, and MEST is always like just one of these bands. I remember my cousin had Destination Unknown poster up on her wall, and that was the first time I've ever seen MEST. I think it was also right next to like the Blink-182 poster where they all have like the biggest cargo shorts in the world. I think the one for Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. And first MEST song I ever heard was 2,000 Miles, and I thought that was like their biggest hit for the longest time. I thought that was like the MEST song, but apparently not. But I remember putting that on a CD with San Dimas High School Football Rules and having this pop-punk mix CD that I would just listen to all the time during the summer. So MEST has always kind of been in my summer pop-punk rotation, and I've always been a pretty big fan, but not as big as a fan as a certain a DJ over here. So DJ, tell us about MEST and your history with MEST and how you got into them.
All right, so I definitely got into them a little later. I guess for context, it wasn't really until I was a senior in high school when I started getting more into punk. Enema of the State by Blink was probably the first punk album that really wowed me. And then I would say around a year later is when I found MEST, and I was just playing Enema of the State on Spotify, and then the recommended was The Upside Down by MEST, which is off of their Masquerade album.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs off that record. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then so that's kind of a weird one to have as like your first MEST song, and then I went back and listened to Destination Unknown. And I was obsessed with that album.
That's in your top 10 pop punk records of all time, correct? You've said that many times. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost 1,000 plays according to my last FM.
Damn.
And and I eventually went and listened to all their other stuff, and I was like, wow, the majority of this is pretty fucking killer. Even some of the lesser albums like Photographs and Not What You Expected, like I still find some enjoyment out of those. Like those definitely, I think, body some of like the worst Blink albums. So overall, I've just been a pretty big fan of MEST for the past few years, and I think I really didn't realize how big of a MEST fan I was until I joined the Punk Rock Radar Discord.
Yeah, shout out to the Discord. Join in the link in the description. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Continue, DJ.
but because I always was like Blink, Sum 41, and MXPX are like my big three bands.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much I talked about MEST until I was in there.
And so you're like, just the MEST guy. You're known as the MEST guy, definitely. That's what we know you as. The guy who loves MEST. And but yeah, John, you did the MEST tier list, and what are your thoughts on MEST and some of their records and stuff like that?
So obviously, I think I'm at least 10 years older than you guys, so my story starts a little earlier. I remember that I was well aware of MEST in like the early 2000s, but I had saw them. And this was right after 9/11. Good Charlotte had the Uniting the States tour, and they rolled through Poughkeepsie with MEST and The Movie Life. and
Oh, wow.
this would have been October 2001. I don't know. They got those shirts printed so fast with the Statue
Yeah.
of Liberty and all this stuff somehow. But that was when I really was like, okay, Mess kind of rocks. So it was like 2001. It may have been right after Destination came out. I don't remember if it was out. They were definitely playing songs from it, but I got Destination at that show. Then I borrowed what's the first? Wasting Time, the first one?
No, that's the
Oh,
second one. That's the first like
Oh yeah,
real
yeah,
one.
yeah. That more money,
yeah,
yeah. So I
Yeah,
got
Mo Money, Mo Fodies.
I got
yeah.
Wasting Time
Yeah.
shortly after that. And like here's the thing. Like I'm a little apprehensive about this because like a lot of those bands from that pop punk era, like if you look at like Blink tried to kind of recreate the past like Magic with California, didn't
Yeah.
really land. That seems to be like what a lot of the bands from this era are doing. Like the one example, and it's kind of like, I would say Good Charlotte's Cardiology is the closest I've seen where they kind of recapture what they had in their heyday. But when we were young, I heard it. I think it's one of their best songs in a while. I did not
Yeah.
listen to Hate You Sober yet. I saw that it had, is it Ice Nine Kills, which is a band
Yeah.
my wife likes, which isn't always a good thing. So I didn't check it out yet, but yeah, I'm
I
cautious but apprehensive.
yeah, Ice Nine Kills. I don't know what their whole like. It's like a horror movie metal band kind of
Yeah,
gimmick,
it's
but they
weird.
seem to be friends with a lot of people in the pop punk and punk scene. They've done a lot of features with them. Like even Less Than Jake was featured on a track,
Yep.
one of their songs, or
Tony
at least
Lovato was on one of their songs
yeah,
too.
Tony was on one of their songs too. So they, I guess the guys in that band just really like a lot of punk and pop punk people who grew up with them and just like, yeah, let's put them on. So they're a pretty huge band,
Yeah.
I think, at least in the metal and rock scene. So pretty interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys want to get into this and check out Youth by
Yeah.
MEST. We'll start off with
Oh,
when we
yeah.
were
We'll
young.
check it out. So real quick, if it's your
Yep.
first listen reaction, what we're gonna do, we're gonna listen to each song track by track. After the song, we're gonna pause. We're gonna tell you how it made us feel on our pain/satisfaction scale. For those of you on mobile who maybe can't read this, we have all over here is It's Over, then Wasting My Time, Same Old, Same Old, Keeps Me Moving On, and Paradise, which are all MEST songs. And then after that, if we remember, I mean, this is the part we forget it about 60% of the time. We're going to
We get like
assign
3
it.
songs in before we forget.
Yeah,
So.
we're going to forget. This is only 7
Yeah.
songs, so we should at least get half. But then
Yeah.
we're going to assign the song a rating out of 10. At the end of the video, we're going to give the album a ranking out of 10. Pretty simple, but that's how it goes. So, you guys ready to get into this first song here, When We Were Young?
Yep, let's
Yes.
do it. Start the countdown, man.
Okay, first song in 3, 2, 1. All right, first song, When We Were Young. We'll go to Superfan first, Mr. DJ. How did it make you feel on our scale? Any thoughts, and what's your score?
So I will admit, when they released the first two singles, I listened to those pretty frequently just to kind of get a feel of those. I would say this is probably in the keeps me moving on section. I think this is a pretty decent song overall. Like I think it's really good. I guess my main thing I would say, and I don't know if this is really a criticism, but I think the Jarrett Bowling for Soup feature, I don't think it necessarily adds like a ton to it, but I don't think it takes away anything either. But I think it would have been just the same if Tony would have sang it
Yeah.
just the whole time. But overall, I think it's a really good track.
I
I didn't even realize he was in. He was a feature.
It's really quiet. Like his vocal is
Yeah.
pretty quiet on there. I did notice that too.
I forgot he was listed as a feature on this single. If you never told me that, I would have never guessed there was another singer. Even
Yeah.
I thought it was just some Huh, that's interesting. Well, what are you giving it out of 10 here?
Um, I'd probably give it about an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
There we
All
go.
right.
Starting off strong. What are you doing, Elliot?
I thought this was pretty good. I think, like you said, we both, I think we all heard this single
Yeah.
at least. This one. This is like probably one of the best MEST songs I've heard in a while. It's a good chorus. The production's pretty interesting on this too. Definitely getting into like that newer pop punk sound a little bit, but the drums, I don't know if I've heard this style of drumming, like this the sound that they have on this
Yeah.
drumming. I'm not sure if I love it or not. It's quite interesting. I don't mind it. It's just like kind of getting adjustment to it. Or I'm not used to hearing like newer pop punk. Like it has everything else that sounds right. The bass sounds really great. It's just the drums are kind of strange sounding, but I don't mind it. I'd give this like it's a catchy song. I'm in the keeps me moving on, maybe slightly the same old same old. But I give it a 7.3. I think it's a pretty solid track. I thought it was catchy. It was a good song. What do you think, John?
I did not expect to be the highest out of us, but I agree with a lot of what both of you said. I think this is probably my favorite MEST song since the self-titled. So that was unexpected when I heard it. Like I thought Masquerade was pretty good. The one before it, not what you expected. I didn't really vibe with at all.
Yeah.
Then Photographs is definitely hit or miss. If I'm missing any, I don't have a track list in front of me, but like I would say this is probably one of my favorite MEST songs since like Jaded or Rooftops. So I mean just because I don't know where this list is gonna go or this track list is gonna go. I mean as far as a MEST song goes, like I can't expect much more in 2024. So I'll go all the way. Like I feel like this has got to be one of the best songs on the album. So let's hit it there. And I'll go A5. I think it was a really good opener. I mean, this has Summer Anthem written all over it. Kind of
Definitely.
Yeah.
it
Yeah, driving to the
Yeah.
beach music right here. Bump me up to 7.5 just because 7.3 seems weird. I'm looking at it. Like it's a good song. 7.3 seems too low. 7.5 seems just right.
Yeah, and one last like it to me, this kind of does what they're trying to do. Like it felt nostalgic, like the little like the slide guitar lead that was kind of maybe not buried, but it was low in the mix. It was like very reminiscent of like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, Blink, and then but it's got modern production, which which is what we expect. I think both of you guys alluded to that, so. I think this accomplishes what they set out to do. It's a great start to the album. So we'll go A5. A5. Why not?
All right. Hell yeah.
There we go.
Let's get into Hate You Sober now. Go ahead and move to the next one.
Yeah, let's do it. So this one is called Hate You Sober. And like I said, I was traveling the day that this came out. It's like the only Friday I didn't do my post in the last like 3 years. So I have not heard of this song yet. But I think both of you guys have. Is that right?
Yeah.
I've heard it one time. So
okay.
I've heard it a few more.
All right. So
he had it on repeat. Super fan over here.
MEST super fan, exactly. So we'll get rolling on this one, guys. It's gonna be Hate You Sober. We'll kick it off in 3, 2, 1.
Fucking hate you sober.
All right, Elliot, we'll go to you on this one first here. Hate You Sober. Initial thoughts.
I think that was a banger. I think that's an awesome song. I think it's better than When We Were Young, in my opinion. I really like that. I feel like that if that came out in 2002, that'd be like a radio hit. I feel like that has all of the like the structural formula there to just be like, it's very catchy. It's in my head right now. I fucking hate you sober, da da. It's like already stuck in my head, and I wasn't sure about how the drum sound. And When We Were Young, it works really well on Hate You Sober. It's really all the fills and stuff, the slow kind of build up breakdown where I guess the Ice Nine Kills Guy's vocal comes in for that part, and then it goes right back into I'm sorry. Da, da, da. I like this one. I think this is the best song so far. A lot. I like this one a good bit. I'll go. I'm firmly in the keeps me moving on to paradise with this one. I'll go 8.6. 8.6.
Wow.
It was really fun. This one will make this one is gonna make a pop punk playlist definitely for the summer. So I like this song. I think it's a hit. It's a hit.
8.6. Holy cow. Okay. I think the first one's better personally. I guess I'm like here in the middle of these two. I think a lot of what you're saying is correct for me too. I think it sounds really good. It's super crisp, this album. Man, I would say I don't know. I don't know what to do with this one. It's like I thought it was pretty good, and it's definitely one that's gonna get stuck in my head. But it's a tough first listen one to really gauge it. I think I'm gonna play it safe here, and let's go with a 7-1. There's a pretty big gap between When We Were Young and this one for me, but it was still like super catchy, and I'm surprised with how good this is so far. I'm actually kind of pumped that we're gonna get 2 more of these albums this year. But yeah, I'm at 7-1. DJ, what did you think?
So of the two, I think this one is my favorite. And this kind of builds off of what Ergoth said. Like if this came out in 2002, this would have been a hit. And like I get a lot of self-titled vibes from this song. Just like the structure of it, like it really reminds me of that album, and I really didn't think about that until just sitting here. This is definitely a paradise for me. I would give it a 9.
Damn, nice.
Yeah,
He's feeling it.
John, that's the wildest, highest score you've ever given. 7-1. I'm kidding. No, both songs are really good. So this is 2 bangers right off the start.
Yeah.
So these are the 2 singles though. So now we're getting into, for me and DJ, unknown territory here.
Yes. Well, all of us. None of us have heard. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you were in unknown territory already with this one.
Oh yeah. So we're all
now we're all in unknown territory. So John we've now entered the void with John, the MEST void here. So, but I guess let's get on to Barely Hanging On.
All right, let's see if we can keep the pace so far. I mean, everybody's like hovering around 17 out of 20.
Yeah,
so
we haven't missed any of the rating system either. So let's keep that rating system up. And MEST, you keep up the pace on the album. So let's get into it.
All right, here we go. Barely Hanging On in 3, 2, 1. All right, that was Barely Hanging On. I'll kick us off here with this one. But who's the guest vocalist? Do we know? It sounded so familiar, but
it's almost sounded like Patrick Thump from Fallout Boy,
Patrick
like slightly.
Thump.
I don't know if it is whatever his name is. What's his last name?
I think it's Stump. But
is it Stump? Okay,
I doubt that's him.
It's the dude from Zebrahead, I think.
Really?
I
can kind of see that. I think
on Apple Music it says "Barely Hanging On" featuring Zebrahead.
Oh, must be the new Zebrahead guy. It's not a Maddie anymore. I forget who they got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Man, the first here's where I'm at. The first 2 minutes I was really feeling it. I felt like it kind of went on. It's a shorter song, but the last 30 seconds I kind of was dipping in and out. But it starts off really good. This is the first one I hear what Elliot's saying, especially in the beginning. The drums were kind of front and center for sure, almost like machine gun style.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I always screw myself up with my rankings because I think
classic John moment here.
I think I may have undersold Hate You Sober because I like that better than this one, but I did like this one still. You know, I'm gonna stick to my wrong rankings. We'll just go with it. This is a little like a notch below Hate You Sober, which I ranked too low. So maybe like right in the middle. But I'm gonna what did I give? 7-3 for the first one? Yeah, I think so. So
You
let's
did
do
7-1. 7-1.
There we go.
Damn. All right, there we are.
We'll go to DJ here now. So DJ, first listen, barely hanging on. What do you think?
Definitely agree with you. I don't think this one is as good as the first two songs. I think overall it's a decent song. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Photographs era, just a smidge. I would probably say it's kind of harboring around the same old, and the keeps me moving on. I would give this about a 7.
Okay. So we're finally
right.
we're finally seeing eye to eye here. So Elliot, what did you think?
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good still. I feel like this is still a pretty good pace for the record. I feel like this is just kind of like a classic little pop punk song right here. I don't think it's we're not reinventing the wheel, we're not doing anything crazy, but I liked the little I like all the little dropouts and build back ups
Yeah.
to the chorus. Like anytime a pop punk band does that, you can do it a billion times. I'm gonna love it every single time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's how you structure pop punk songs. It's great. You drop it out, you get the drums building up again. The drumming also like kind of reminded me of Until I Met You with how aggressive it was for a little bit, but it was really aggressive. It almost felt like a drum machine a little bit. I'm not sure if it is, but it sounds interesting. I kind of wane in and out of how much I like how the drums sound on this. I'm talking about them a lot, but it's just so prevalent. It's right then and there. But I think this was a pretty decent song. I think I'm going to give this around what John has, a 7-1. I'm right there in the same old to keeps me moving. This is a decent to good MEST song. So MEST.
It's interesting you brought up that the last part. I could be wrong, but I think the first two songs it kind of sped up after the dropout at the end, and this one kind of it wasn't like a faster one. It was not halftime, but
they did like a dan it,
yeah,
and then dan it, and then they went into it. It was like a build up to
a fake out,
to a fake out to the fast part. So
Yeah.
all right,
but yeah, all right. So I mean, we're all pretty positive about this record so far. I mean, I feel like it's 7. We only got 4 more tracks. I feel like they can't drop the ball too hard. So I feel like this is firmly going to be a solid MEST album so far. But
yeah. As long as it doesn't end with like 3 acoustic songs, I think we're in a good spot right now.
Yes. So
Well,
parking lot could be an acoustic. Parking lot might be an acoustic.
Empty Room has potential to be acoustic.
Yeah, Empty
too.
Room has. That sounds like an acoustic song.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
Well, we don't have to wait to find out. We'll kick off Empty Room right now. We'll see if our intuition is correct. Here we go. Track 4, Empty Room in 3, 2, 1. Man, it sounds like we were gonna go into 180 degrees at the end of that. But that was interesting. So that was Empty Room. We'll go back to DJ for his feelings here. DJ, first listen, what were your thoughts?
I really liked this one. This almost sounds like it could have been on Masquerade. Like I could see this fitting like somewhere on like the first maybe 4 or 5 tracks of that. I really liked this one. I think maybe it's potentially a song I could even like even more, like as the album comes out and as I get more used to the song. I would say this is in the keeps me moving on range, and I would give this a solid 8.
He's going
Hell
8.0.
yeah.
Man,
Nice.
Elliot, thoughts?
I liked it. Their chorus is super catchy. Also, I loved the beginning with the drum, and I love the bass sound. They were doing some of the higher do 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 do. I love how the bass is chugging along. It sounds really great. The production, I feel like, shines through really well in this song specifically. I would say the build up and back into the chorus, which they were kind of just doing this repeat formula for all these songs, wasn't as strong as some of the other ones, but I think that chorus and all the other things around it makes up for it, where I think I do like this better than Barely Hanging On. Also, the chorus, there's a My Chemical Romance melody that is in there somewhere that Say goodbye to you. I can see it. There is a song. It's in my head. I can't figure out what it is, but great melody. Love the production. It was a fun song. It's what it needs to be. It's a solid mess song. I'm gonna give it a 7.4. I liked it. So
7.4. So you heard MCR. I hear the kind of Goldfinger melody.
I can see that too. Definitely. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think I really screwed up my Hate You Sober thing. Retroactively, I would put that higher, like a 7,
At least a
9.
7.5.
Yeah, I should do
7.9?
7, 9,
Okay.
or 8. Yeah, so retroactively, let's go Hate You Sober. We'll go 8. We'll give it an 8, 8.0, because I can still hear that
Or
chorus.
Hate You Sober. Okay.
Yeah, and so this one, I kind of feel very similar about the last two, where I started off really liking it, and then I don't know, it didn't take me anywhere, but it was still like a catchy pop punk song. I still liked it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go here on this one a 6.9. And just so you guys, if this is your first one watching, it's very rare that I don't dip into like the 2s and 3s. So 6.9 is not a bad score. I'll go right. It's like a middle of the road possible skip song for me. So yeah, right there. But it's still this album is way better than I initially expected. So I am pleasantly surprised. We've got only 3 songs left. The next one's gonna be called "Was It Worth It?" So guys, any other thoughts on Empty Room, or are you ready to get here to track 5?
No, we can get into track 5. Just do your countdown a little slower. Sometimes you speed them up a little bit. So keep it consistent. All right.
All right. We're going to go into "Was It Worth It" in 3, 2, 1. All right. Elliot, was it worth it?
It would have been worth it at 2 minutes 35 seconds. A little long. I mean, I know it's like the only song that's like breaking like 3 minutes almost at this point, but I feel like it didn't really do anything with that final minute. There was no cool breakdown, really. There was no cool build up. There wasn't any interesting guitar work. It started off like a total banger.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting. Also, the bass really sounded like it was almost like slapping, almost like a Tiger Army bass. It was really strange sounding. A lot of interesting production decisions on this. It's definitely like one of the most unique sounding MEST albums. Even though it is kind of this modern production, it has its own thing going on. I've never heard like a pop punk record do before. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that.
Yeah.
But the chorus, once again, very catchy. But I would say this is the first one where I would be teetering on a possible skip, but it's also only 7 songs, so it's probably won't get skipped if I'm just listening to this. But I give 6.5. I'm in kind of the same old territory. So it's not a bad song, but definitely my least favorite here. So
yeah, this was a weird one. Like it started off like very Blink Untitled, the tone of it, and then it kind of went back to like your typical MEST, and kind of in that not what you expected era almost. I agree with you. Like it felt a little long. The part I wasn't feeling most was those like the harmonies on the tail end. I don't know if it was a guest vocal, but it seems to me anyway it's slightly off on the harmony. Wasn't feeling that part, but the first 2 minutes I liked it better than the last 2. Like I thought this had real potential, but yeah, it ended up in the same area as Empty Room. I think we're still seeing that those first 2 songs may be the cream of the crop here, but it was still an enjoyable track. So I'm gonna go let's go 6, 7. I think the length kind of works against it a little bit, but overall it was still like a decent pop punk track.
yeah.
DJ, what are your thoughts?
So I definitely am ranking it a little higher than you guys.
As you should.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys in the sense like this didn't didn't really remind me of a ton of stuff that Mest has done before. Because with some of these other songs, I've pointed like, oh, this kind of sounds like Photographs, or this sounds like self-titled. This one, maybe it has a little bit of a tinge of like not what you expected, but definitely still something interesting going on. I feel like with it musically. Um, I can see what you say about maybe it is a little too long, but I personally still enjoyed it. I would put this in the keeps me moving on,
Okay.
and I would give this I would give this an 8.
Nice.
Damn. Wow.
He's like, I hear your criticisms and I wiped them away. 8.
Yeah.
I love this song. Hey, I respect it. Hell yeah.
I was feeling it at first, in the beginning.
I think the chorus, all these choruses have been, to me, I like them more than Masquerade and anything on, shit. What's the Not What You Expected? Is that what it's called? I forget what it's called. Yeah. So I think these choruses are very strong. So
yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with this so far. Like, all 5 choruses have been really good. So. I mean, and what's a pop punk album but like a catchy chorus? You know, that's essentially what we've got. So mission accomplished there for sure. We've got 2 songs remaining. We'll move on to track number 6 here. It is called That Saturday. You guys ready to kick this off?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. It is Saturday, by the way. So that Saturday on this Saturday. So let's go into it in 3, 2, 1.
I'll never forget that Saturday.
All right, that was That Saturday. I'll kick it off for this one. So songs like this are never going to be my favorite on the album, but like, I mean, we knew there was going to be a song like this on here. They usually have a slower, more mid-tempo, low-tempo song. I thought it was pretty good. Beginning guitar riff reminded me of like Macy's Day Parade from Warning. It was catchy, right? And then
I was about to say it sounded like a Green Day song.
Yeah, dude, it's totally like Warning. I love Warning, by the way, so that's not a bad thing. It was decent. I mean, the thing about these songs for me personally, these are the ones I'm least likely to go back and listen to just that song. Yeah. This is kind of one of those ones you listen to when you're listening to the album. It was catchy though. I mean, it's got a great melody. I don't have any issue with this type of track being on the back half of the album. Overall, what did I give the last one? 6.5, right? 6.7 somewhere. So I'll go. I mean, for like and
the 6.7.
Yeah, like pseudo acoustic style mid tempo song. I'll go 6.8. I think it was fine. It's not gonna be my favorite. It really have to blow me away for this style to be my favorite. But I thought it was inoffensive, catchy, nice song. What do you think, DJ?
Yeah, I agree. I think this was a pretty decent song overall. It reminded me of Green Day's Warning, but it also gave me a little bit of like Fountains of Wayne and like Click 5 kind of
a very power poppy.
Yeah. And I initially thought this was going to be my least favorite, but I ended up enjoying it. I think it's a decent song. This probably, I don't know. I agree. I don't know if this would be one that I would seek out to listen to outside of like a full album listen, but I think it's pretty all right. I would say this is probably maybe on the upper half of same old. I would give this a 6.8.
Look at that. We're back on track. And Elliot, what do you think?
I hate like having like my least favorite song on records be like the mid-tempo song, just because it's like, oh, what, you just want us to do the same exact song over and over again. No, I don't, but I think this is not a particularly great mid-tempo song. I think it has a pretty decent chorus. To make it out alive. Like it's I could play an acoustic cover of this song and have a good time singing it, but as a listening experience, I don't know if like the power pop mess thing is my favorite. There's a lot of mid-tempo pop punk songs that I do like, and this is a pretty, I would just say, generic one. This is like generic power pop song to me. It's probably my least favorite on the record. I'll probably go 6 on it. It's not bad. I still enjoyed the melody, and as like a song on an album, it's fine to have something like this. It's fine not to, but we'll see how Parking Lot fares as the final track of Youth, part 1 of 3, possibly.
Yeah.
So this seems like it took forever to come out to begin with, so we'll see when we get the other 2.
Yeah.
But
It's funny you mentioned like the mid tempo being your least favorite, and I'm always thinking that too. Like my first listen, I'm always like, give me those fast like bangers. Like that's what I want to hear first listen. But then like it's never any surprise when like 3 weeks later I've got this melody stuck in my head. These songs are usually the growers of that.
They're the
right?
sleepers, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a ton. I mean, Wonder Years has so many songs that have like grown on me that have been very slow tracks that I'm like, actually, that song has been stuck in my head for a week. And same with Blink. I think Always is a great song by them. So, in my opinion, I like that song.
Yeah,
I don't know if you do, but
like we've all said, this style is very tough to really have a standout on first listen. So I don't think anybody's rating here is surprising, right? I think that's fair.
Yeah, it is. This is a sleeper. This is the first listen. So sometimes when you come back around to it, you're like, actually, I was way too harsh on that song, and actually, this is a fine song, But let's go to let's move it up to Parking Lot.
All right, final song, Parking Lot, coming up here in 3, 2, 1.
Sitting in a parking lot. Can't go home. We can't go back. We can't go home.
All right, final track on the album. You have to think that maybe that flows into the next one too, the way it ended.
Yeah, I wonder.
Right?
Yeah.
But we'll go to DJ first. We'll go straight across. So DJ, last song, Parking Lot. How you feeling?
I think this was an all right closer. But I don't know if I'm not sure if this would have been like the best choice for a closer, but I think as a song it's pretty good. But again, kind of putting into the context of there being 2 more albums after this, I do wonder if it flows into that, and so maybe that's why it ends the way it does.
Yeah, they got to get DLC updates for the best album. We got to download the rest of the record after.
Yeah, I could see this being a grower for me, because it has some of the stuff that I like about Self-Titled and Masquerade. I would say this is kind of in between that same old and keeps me moving on. I'd give this like a 7.2.
Okay.
Ooh. All right, 7-2, and Elliot, it's on you.
Is it just me, or is like the first 15 seconds like it felt like it was going to be a totally different song? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Like it felt like that was like going to be the core. I feel like that never came back, that little intro part. But it's not a bad song. I'm also noticing the bass is going crazy in this one, dude. What is going on, dude? It's like boom, boom, boom. It's like almost like NoFX Wolves and Wolves Clothing bass lines and some of this stuff. And then the drums are going like these machine gun snaps on the snare. It's pretty crazy. Production wise is going on here. It's like almost like a little chaotic, but it's cool. It's cool, all that stuff. I never heard MEST do stuff like this. I don't think I ever have. Like feels like it's complex, some of these bass lines I'm hearing. But this was not bad. This is probably the weakest chorus. In my opinion, it was a pretty fine closer though, and like I said, I do like all of the drum and the bass stuff going on. It does kind of have like a Blink Untitled feeling a little bit to it, some of the style they're going for. But I'll go a solid 7 on this one. It's not bad, not my favorite though. So what do you think, John?
I think this is my third favorite track on the album, guys.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why. I was just feeling this one. It's longer. You guys know that my attention span is dreadful. And this was
Yes.
this was like
Same here.
maybe was this 4 minutes? I have to check, but I think it was.
I don't think it was 340 or something. It was
340?
pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was feeling this one. I liked the chorus. The bass, that's what I wrote down. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, it was loud.
Yeah.
but-
It was really loud.
But
It was
I like this
slapping
one.
right into my earlobes, dude. Listening to it, it was pretty sweet.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
I think I went 8.5 on the first one. Then I retroactively did an 8 on sober, and I think I'll go an 8. Let's balance this
Okay.
out here. I think I may have gone too low on barely hanging on, and maybe too high on empty room in that Saturday. So I'll balance it out a little bit with an 8. And yeah, I'll give my closing thoughts, and then we can go back down this way. So overall, I'll be honest. Expectation going in, I fully expected. I was like, this is probably gonna be like a 5, 6 out of 10 album. I mean, it's an EP. There was a bunch of guest vocalists that I don't necessarily know if they added anything. In
really.
some cases, like, you know, I like Tony's voice a lot. Like, and it's been
Yeah.
a while. We don't get MEST albums that often, so if I'm getting 7 songs, I'd like to hear more of Tony. Like, it's kind of his band. I don't know if we need to get that many guest vocals. Overall, I would say I'm pleasantly surprised. I've been saying it the whole time. It has 3 really good songs that I would say are right up there in the best that MEST has done since 2003. So over a 21-year period, I'd say this has got 3 of probably their top 10 songs over that. So I feel good about this. As grading this as an EP, I'm not going to grade it as an LP. But if I'm getting 3 out of 7 really good songs on EP, I feel comfortable giving this a 7.4 overall. Bunch of summer anthems. So summer anthem EP with early 2000s feel. Sign me up all day, every day. 7.4 is my score. Elliot, what did you think?
I think this is a very solid pop punk EP. I think this is definitely some of the best stuff MEST has put out in a little bit. This is, I think DJ has said, self-titled, has a lot of similarities to that and to Masquerade as well. I hear some of that and Photograph. So those 3 records, it all kind of has like a little hosh-posh, but with just some really new production, some really interesting stuff going on. Like the bass is going crazy sometimes, the drums. You got to listen to it for yourself. Definitely, don't take our word for it. Definitely, listen to this and purchase it if you're a big fan. But it was pretty fun. It was a fun record to listen to. This was just enjoyable. There's some bangers. Hate You Sober, I thought was a banger. I really liked Empty Room a lot as well. I think those might be my 2 favorites. But yeah, we'll go around where you're at, John, but I'll go slightly higher. I'll go 7.5 on this one, I think. That's how I feel about it. I think for an EP, I think it works perfectly fine. I think I really liked 4 of the tracks on here, and only felt kind of mediocre towards maybe 1 or 2. So what do you think, DJ?
I think overall this was a very solid album. I think the drums and bass are probably some of the best that MEST has done, like, period. Like, the bass and drums, kind of piggybacking off of what you both have said, I think they go really hard, and it just adds...
Yeah.
It really adds a certain texture to MEST. I think the singles they chose, I think, were the right ones. But I mean, but I really liked Empty Room. There isn't a song that I dislike on this. Maybe a couple songs that I think are more growers than showers. But I would say overall, I'll give this a little higher. I'll give it a solid 8. I think this was a very good EP. Now, where I would rank, I don't know where I would rank this in the catalog. But I think I could see myself going back to this more than maybe something like Not What You Expected or Photographs. So
Yeah.
I think it's very solid. I think it's really good.
We got to wait for the next two DLCs to drop, and then we can redo the MEST rankings with DJ here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
So
But yeah, we'll wrap it up here. So overall, everybody's given it a decent score. Everyone's over 7. So
yeah,
pretty decent. I mean, for me, it's a very good to great EP, especially for pop punk. Coming out at the perfect time. I'm glad we don't have a release date, like I said. We're recording this here on June 1st. There's no pre-order yet, but we've seen that it's going to be on vinyl, on SBAM, and I think Avex in Japan. I don't have the press release. I forgot to have it in front of me. But yeah, if you like it, go make sure you pick up the vinyl from Spam Records. Support the band. I'm sure they'll have some on tour. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more punk rock discussion, we've got 24/7 talk in the Discord. That's why I met both of these guys from the Discord. So make sure you join down below. Let us know what you think of the album. What are you listening to currently? What are your favorite records? Whatever you want to talk about, we're there. And if you want to support the channel, there's a limited run store. I've got tons of vinyl from some of the best new pop punk, skate punk bands, some Punk Rock Radar merch if that's your thing. And as always, I will chuck in tons of stickers, random ass stickers you will get. So if you want to support the channel, that's where you could do it. But we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
peace out.
Peace.